Okay, everyone, so now that we're done creating our different backdrops for our platform levels, the next thing that we're going to do is go into our code. So just make sure you're on your code tab and your stage is highlighted blue to know that you're in the correct spot. So the code is going to be very simple. We're just going to tell it exactly what stage slash backdrop we wanted to start off with first, and then which levels are going to get what backdrops. So the first thing we're going to do is click on our yellow events tab, and we're going to add when I receive green flag, since this is what's going to start our game for us. Then we're going to add the first look block. So we're going to go into looks, add a switch backdrop to, and we're going to change it to the backdrop that we have, which is going to be our very first one. So we know that that's the first one we're starting for our first level. Now that we've done this, so our game is going to know exactly which backdrop to choose and which one to start from. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell it exactly which backdrops we want to show up for which levels. So we're going to click on control and add a forever block. And then we're going to add a if-then statement. So inside of the rhombus shape of the if-then, we're going to go into operators and add an equal sign. And we already know that this is going to be checking for something, and we're checking specifically for what level we are in so that we know what backdrop to add. So to do this, we're going to click on our variables tab, add the level bubble inside of the empty bubble, and the 50 we're going to change to what level we want to affect. So since our first level is already set, we can move on to the second level. So I'm going to add a 2. I'm going to go back into looks and add another switch backdrop, and then I can pick my next backdrop. So for example, if you didn't do your backdrops in order and you kind of just created all the ones that you wanted, you can quickly go into the backdrop tab, look at the one that you have, and make sure that you know which one you want for your next level. So let's say, for example, I actually want my third backdrop for my second level. I can go ahead and do that. Then all I need to do is repeat this if-then multiple times until I have one if-then for one of my remaining levels. So for example, now I'm going to hover over my if. I'm going to right-click and duplicate it, put it in the bottom. And now I'm going to do it for my level 3. And this time I want my second backdrop. And I'm going to continue this until I have all 6 levels. So even though I don't have the backdrops for it, or if I am going to be one of the students that's only creating 3, then I can duplicate this again, make my 4th level, and let's say we're switching it back to backdrop 1, making my 5th level, maybe I'll use backdrop 3 again, and then making my 6th level, and then maybe switching it to backdrop 2. So now I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. So again, you don't have to do it for the first one because this first switch backdrop to is changing it for the first level. Everything after, you will have to tell it which backdrop you're using. So it's always good to go back into the tab, look at your backdrops, see which ones you want to add for which levels, and then create one for each of them. Okay, and then you're just telling it exactly which levels you're going to change it to. And as always, after you're done, it's always good to test it out, play it, make sure the backdrops are correctly placed for each level, and make sure that everything stands out and plays really well as well.